You see those books that you've got on your bookshelf that have been there for years and never get round to reading? Well, lockdown has meant that many of them will have been dusted down, opened up and read. I guess that many of you will have a Bible on your bookshelves, but I'll bet it's not as old as this one here. This one's called the Bishop's Bible. It was one of the first books ever to be printed. And it's very old. It dates from 1584, this edition. And that makes it 436 years old. It's got some lovely drawings in it and lots of notes in the margins to explain the meaning of the words. It was so valuable and so important that when this one got damaged, somebody wrote out by hand the damaged pages and then sewed them in at the back of the book. Just think that this actual book was being studied and read when Shakespeare was writing his plays. It was being studied and read while the Spanish Armada set sail to conquer these islands. Studied and read just as the plague, the Black Death, had devastated this land. It's a fascinating book full of elaborate illustrations and with loads of information in the margins to help you understand the scriptures. And it's from this story that we read a wee bit today about Paul in Athens being brought before the council at the Areopagus. Here's what the Areopagus looks like today. Paul used this opportunity to connect with those listening to him. He pointed out the altar to the unknown God, and then in a masterclass of communication, he simply said, "I'm here to tell you who that is." They paid attention. His message wasn't just for the few, but for everyone. He spoke not just to those who agreed with him, but to those who sought to make a fool of him. He used their public square. He argued with the best of them. He even quoted one of their ancient poets when speaking about Jesus and teaching about God. In him we live and move and have our being. This book, this Bible, 436 years old. But the story in it is a story that people turn to again and again throughout their lives. It's a story about God and his undying love, revealed throughout all history. And as Paul showed, it's a story not just for a few, but a story for all. And the best bit is that we are in that story too, because it's a story about God and his love for all his people. It's amazing to think that we are part of this story today. And just as I was opening this up today, I came across a wee piece of paper inside it, an old note that I hadn't ever seen before, and I'll share it with you. Here it's here. It's dated from 1766. It's barely legible, but here's what I can make out. James Gordon bought this book, God Give Him Grace, on it to look, not just to look, but to understand that it is better than any other, gold or land. The year of God, 1766.